is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
And we are live, everybody. We are live. Welcome back to the Fanatics Collect Weekly Hockey Auction Ending Watch Party. It is January 26, 2025. My name is still, just like it was last week, Jeremy Lee. And we have a great show tonight. And also, you might want to look forward to next Sunday's Fanatics Collect Hockey Auction. There are some absolute bangers next week, but we got some great stuff tonight, too. Let's bring out Mr. Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gongshow. Josh, hello, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hearing. I see this message. No volume, Daniel. I think you're messing with me, buddy. But if you can hear me, Josh, and they can hear me, so we are good. We are good. Yeah, how's things, bud?
Things are well. We're checking in on the football score right before we started, so I think the chat will keep us updated there. But pretty exciting football game. Got some hockey cards ending. Life couldn't be better.
I was watching the Kansas City Buffalo game here just up until we went live. I saw Buffalo just tied it up 29-29, and there's 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's going to be an interesting fourth quarter. I sure would like to watch it, but we will do this and keep our eyes on the score on the side. Some good stuff going on here on Fanatics, you guys. We have Kevin Hawthorne with us from Lakeland, Florida. Laura's here. What's up, Laura? Jacob Dahl, Jeff McMahon, Linda's first. Happy, it's Gretzky's birthday. Hello to you too. Hello to you, Linda's first son, Michael. Daniel Thorson, what's going on, buddy? Todd McDonald, good to see you. That 70s card show. So yeah, we don't know who they're going to play yet, but yeah, maybe it was on your end, Daniel. You threw me for a loop there, buddy. But that's all good. That's all good. Yeah, I mean, so what's going on in hockey right now? A monstrous trade out of nowhere. Took Nathan MacKinnon by surprise even. If you heard his quote, he's sad, but look what happens. The first game back, Martin Necas and Jack Drury both contribute last night to the score, to the win. Like, was it last night or was that earlier today, actually? That was earlier today. Never mind, not last night. Necas with 2 assists and Jack Drury with a goal. So I don't know that Colorado is going to miss a beat. Losing now, Rantanen's a great player. They probably weren't going to sign him, is what it sounded like, Josh. But I don't know. Are they going to miss a beat without him there? Like Necas, he's no slouch. What are your thoughts on that trade?
I think they're going to miss him a lot. I think that Rantanen is a tank, number one, and he is a huge point producer and goal scorer. And you don't replace Mikko Rantanen's, right? You don't let those go. Now, not that Necas is a slouch, and who knows about Jack Drury, but I'm a firm believer, Jeremy, that when there's a trade, that the team that gets the best player wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty common position that people take. And I think I often agree with it too. But then again, you know, not that this is a comparable trade, but when the Calgary Flames traded Elias Lindholm to the Vancouver Canucks and the Flames got back Kuzmenko along with a bunch of other assets, I think the Flames won that trade, especially since Lindholm left and Vancouver got nothing. So while I do agree, generally that's a great and a kind of like an easy way to look at it. And it oftentimes is, I think what you said there, Josh, is probably true like 90% of the time and likely in this deal. However, the thing is that if Colorado truly felt that they weren't going to be able to sign him, you're so much better off to go get something rather than nothing, which has happened to so many teams in the past as well. And to get Necas, I mean, that's like as good as you're going to do. It's so much better than nothing. It's so much better than getting nothing. So are they going to miss Rantanen? Yeah, I think you're right. Of course they're going to miss him. He is a beast, but so far in one game. Nate just stepped up, and even Jack Drury scored a goal. So that was nice to see. Daniel says they would have lost him for nothing. Smart move by the Avs. Yeah, that's I think that's the case. So in this case, Josh, and when you said, that what so many people always say, whoever gets the best player wins a trade. I think Carolina wins the trade, but I don't think Colorado lost it. I think it's a win-win sort of situation because of what Daniel said, and because let's see. Linda's first says Colorado will be fine. Makar and Mac play down the middle, the most important part of the ice. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to feel like any team with Makar and McKinnon aren't going to be good, but you lose. It's similar, Josh. What do you think of this? Do you think it's similar to as if Edmonton was forced to trade away Draisaitl for Necas, or is Draisaitl that much better than Makar that it's a bit that's not really fair?
Well, I think Draisaitl's a lot better than Rantanen, but Rantanen's really good. And
I said Makar by mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got what you're saying, and I don't. Here's the way I look at it, right? Yes, there's the long-term aspects of it, but you could have made the argument that this year they were a Stanley Cup contender. I don't think they have better chances to win the cup now with Necas than they did with Rantanen. That's for sure. And then I'm kind of like mad at my team. It's like, we have the Minnesota Wild. We have our first ever like superstar player, and he's way better than Gaborik. I know people always say Gaborik, but Kaprizov is a million times better than Gaborik. Why wouldn't the Wild trade Matt Boldy for Rantanen or something? I think they could have put a better package together, because Rantanen's only 20 years old. It's not like, he's got 7 really good. He's got a whole contract of prime left in his career. But, my team's not as aggressive. And I think the Canes have shown with acquiring Gensel last year and now Rantanen this year that they're, really pushing all in to get the cup. And then the other thing I would wonder too, and I'm not a capologist by any stretch, and I'm sure the Avs did their homework, but I don't know if you've seen, but the projections for the cap are to grow pretty significantly over the next few years. So even if Rantanen does want a Draisaitl level at 14 million, and I know that they have Makar coming up and they got to sign him, if the cap goes up by 10 million, maybe you could have afforded all three even at that very high price for Mikko Rantanen. I don't know.
But then you have to do what Daniel A says they won't do, which is pay more to Rantanen than McKinnon. And that's sometimes that has to happen though. I mean, the cap goes up. It's not Rantanen's fault or the Avs' fault that McKinnon signed years ago. It's just not his fault. Thorson says, watch how good Necas will be with Colorado, though. Guy could get to 100 points on secondary assists alone. I mean, we'll see, right? Maybe they won't miss him too much. Maybe Necas will fill that void completely. I mean, because this is really his breakout year too. So, now you mentioned Gensel on Carolina. Gensel then went from Carolina to Tampa Bay. What did Carolina get back, if anything, for Gensel? Do you know? Because I can't think of it. Does anyone know?
I don't remember. I mean, that's a good question. Well, I wouldn't see. I have a hard time comparing Necas to Rantanen because the size difference. Like, Rantanen brings that size and physicality to the team too, and that's going to be, I think, really missed on the Colorado side. And I get what you're saying about, in theory, the team not wanting to pay Rantanen more than McKinnon. But do you think if you went and asked Nathan McKinnon and said, well, here's option A and option B, he makes $2 million more a year than you, or we lose him? What do you think Nathan McKinnon would have said?
No, I don't think McKinnon
sign him up.
Cares. I don't think McKinnon cares. That's one thing. Like I said, I don't really care about those weird little constraints that teams might place on themselves, or although we don't know what's been talked about behind closed doors, there might be something that says they can't pay anyone more than they pay Nate McKinnon until whatever year of his contract.
Maybe.
But that'd be, you got to think that even that kind of contract, that the team's capologist would say, well, yeah, but unless the cap reaches a certain amount, then we can, because we have to spend it, and we're going to have to re-sign some of these great players. So Doghouse says, I have a feeling there is going to be a very big trade at the deadline. Well, Doghouse, you got to give us more. What teams are you thinking? What players? I mean, that's like we all are hoping, but do you have any specificity to that comment? Because I'd love to hear what you think could actually happen. Daniel tells us that Gensel signed as a free agent with Tampa Bay. Thorson says nobody's talking about Taylor Hall. They are not. When he's on a good team, he's great. Former Hart Trophy winner. Yeah, he's just been bounced around. I mean, just today I was looking. It's so funny. Have you ever opened up your scanner and found a card in there that you forgot you left in your scanner? Because that happened to me. It was a Taylor Hall card where he's pictured on the Boston Bruins. It was a cup base patch parallel. He's pictured as the Boston Bruins. I'm like, God, this guy's been everywhere now. So, but yeah, Taylor Hall's a good pickup for Carolina too. They did, they get Rantanen and Taylor Hall. Linda's first. I read that Carolina got both Gensel and Rantanen without giving up a first-round pick. Yeah, but they don't have Gensel anymore. Why are people still talking as if Gensel, and not you, Michael, but I mean, you heard it from somewhere. Why are people still talking about Gensel on Carolina? Because this is the second time I've seen this quote that Linda's first puts up here. It's like, who cares what Carolina got for Gensel? They don't have Gensel anymore, and they did not win the cup last year, so it's a moot point. But appreciate the information. All right. If you're watching us on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. That is where the action is. And Josh, should we start to look at some cards here? What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. We are sorted by oldest to newest cards. We have 3 tabs open. Kind of feel like I want to go quick through these, Josh, and just stop on a few sort of thing. Okay. 1911 C55 Joe Hall. This is a PSA 5, of course, and I click in because I have 32 of the 48 cards in this set. They're all PSA 5s or higher. I don't have a Joe Hall. This is a PSA 5, and I do love the card. It's a beautiful copy. I'm not going to be making a play at it tonight. I'm just not there these days. Eventually I will. And the C55 set completion is not high on my priority list, although it's on it, but it's just not there right now. But this would play into my set. It is off center to the right, but and I'm willing to go under PSA 5s for my collection now for my set because I've just moved into that place in my hobbying. But just a nice corners, edges, and good color. But definitely a bit off center and a nice card overall right there. We have 2 1954 Topps cards to go along with it. The Gordie Howe and the Terry Sawchuk, to me, the 2 best cards from the 1954 Topps set. The Howe is a 2.5 and the Sawchuk is a 5. Josh, any thoughts on the first 3?
No.
The next row, we have 3 1957 Topps cards. And the more, like, we saw some of these last week as well. And, these cards, I love them. I've owned the Glenn Hall, the Norm Allman, never owned the Terry Sawchuk, which is really a nice copy right here. That centering is great. The color is great. It's a 6.5, but it looks nicer than that to me from a distance. And, if you have a soft corner, it's like perfect. Save me hundreds of dollars and let me have, this is a beautiful Terry Sawchuk in the 6.5. It says up here, PSA says Sawchuk is misspelled, but that's the way they all are. I wish they wouldn't. It's the same as the Messier. Sometimes they put it on there, sometimes they don't, but they're all that way. I don't see the need for that, but they do that at PSA sometimes. But the Glenn Hall is such a nice card. This is a PSA 7. And, again, I don't have one anymore, but the more I look at it here on Fanatics Collect, the more I want to pick another one up. And, eventually I will. This one's at 800 right now, plus buyer's premium. And the Norm Allman's a 5. It's very off-centered, but otherwise pretty nice. Josh, has the 57 set started to catch your eye, Josh, at all, or not really?
It hadn't, but a couple of months ago, I think the Glenn Hall has resonated with me more. And you're correct. This is a ridiculously nice PSA 7.
It really is. Like this card comes with the Jeremy and Josh approval, I would say. It's just a really nice looking card right there. All right, we have a PSA 5 Stan Mikita rookie from 1960 Topps. We have a 65 Jerry Cheevers rookie, PSA 7 with above average eye appeal, and a Phil Esposito PSA 7. with above average eye appeal as well. We talked about this. This must have, when did we talk about this, Josh? When we were on the Gong Show podcast, it must have been, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was my pickup. And we were trying to figure out if it's a scratch on the slab, which I think we all concluded it is. And I think what we didn't mention in that conversation was the eye appeal rating. And I don't know how that factors in for us too. I would find it hard pressed for Fanatics to give this card the above average eye appeal rating if that wasn't a scratch on the slab. Now, that being said, if you're the seller, if you're going to sell this card, I'd probably rehold it first because I can't imagine that that isn't eliminating a bidder or two.
Yeah, no, I can. First of all, completely agree with what you said at the beginning. When we chatted about this the other day, which was what, on Wednesday night, we recorded that. I I don't remember knowing that it had eye appeal, which would have very quickly made me realize that no, that scratch is definitely on the slab. So get that out of the way. And then, yes, why would you leave that there? Why wouldn't you buff that out with Scratch X 2.0, McGuire's Scratch X 2.0, or have it reholdered altogether? I'm with you on that. It's a beautiful copy of the card despite the scratch on the slab. Great copy right there. Yvonne Cournoyer, PSA 7 rookie card, another great card from the set, which reminds me, Richie Rocket here says the Glenn Hall is the best looking rookie card in 57 top set. That's a really nice copy. You should go for it, man. I mean, yeah, he's right. To me, it is the nicest rookie card between the Hall, the Allman, the Pierre Pilote, and the Johnny Busick. The Hall is just so classic to me. I'm really just loving that card more and more lately. Cournoyer from 1965 you got Cournoyer, you've got Cheevers, and you got Esposito here, all in sevens. You can get them all. The Cournoyer does seem to be more off-centered than the other two, but I think you're gonna make up for that in sharp corners and edges and good color. But it certainly is off-center compared to the two other 65 rookie card offerings, all Hall of Famer rookies there as well, all three of them. And a couple of 67s. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you about the 57s, Josh, on the 67s, because 57 and 67 hockey might be two of my favorite set designs from the 50s and 60s from Topps. And I just love these. Now, the Bobby Orr here it's a 2. It's really off-centered, but hey, it's there's an opportunity for someone to get in on a cheap Bobby Orr second-year card. Ooh, before I go away from it, I want to see if it has the fisheye. Oh, wrong time to zoom. Let's do this for a second. No fisheye right in here, which is where you often see them, so that's a good sign. And then the other card is the Gordie Howe in a PSA 7. It's off-centered, but looks really good. These are both recently graded, so some opportunities to get these great Hall of Famers in the 67 top set for affordable prices. So, Josh, the question to you is, and then you have the Rogie Vachon Hall of Fame rookie PSA 7 from 67 as well. So back to you, Josh. The 67s, do you like them at all?
Love it. I love the colors. I love the boldness of the background, the kind of the cartoon drawings behind the player, and I love how you get the variety of the background colors too. That they're just combinations that maybe you wouldn't think would work, but they do. Right, having a hot pink background behind Bobby Orr, but it's kind of awesome.
And what about the 65s with these kind of pucks that are kind of stacked, and then they put the team name? How do you like that design with the solid colors it's a simple card, even though the top team name looks a little bubbly with all the the curls and the just that design of the roundness of the pucks. But other than that, it's simple. It does what it doesn't have, Josh, are those spotlights from the 1970 set that you love so much.
Yeah, no, I like the 65. I think I prefer the 67. One thing we should mention too, maybe really quick, going back to the Esposito, Jeremy, is this is an opportunity too. Like, let's say again, the hypothetical, this was your card and you wanted to sell it and it's got that big scratch. Well, one thing Fanatics has done that PWCC was not able to do is that they now have an agreement with PSA. So you could avoid, it would be pretty easy, I would think, to submit this card, contact Fanatics, and have them ship it to PSA to get reholdered, and that they would take care of that for you.
Yeah. It's a great card. It is a great card, no doubt. Okay, speaking of the spotlights on the 1970s, there's the Bobby Orr in a PSA 8. That's a strong grade for the card. It's off-center to the right, but otherwise looks very sharp and recently graded, so an opportunity for people to grab this if you're looking to do the run. And I would expect that because it's off-center that you're going to get this for less than the average PSA 8 for that card. And then you've got a PSA 8 69 OPG Bobby Hull, $240. Looks like a really clean card right there as well. I think we talked about how with the stick coming down there last week, Josh. I like that card as well. How do you like? I like this question tonight for you. How do you like the design of the 69s?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's amazing how starkly different these cards can get in just a couple of years. I mean, you go from very cartoony in 1967 to almost more like a mugshot on the hallway, but I do love the stick element in the 69 and then to the kind of bonkers 1970. And the 1970 Bobby Orr has it's the trifecta of ridiculousness. It's not only got the spotlights, but it's got the goofiest legs ever. I mean,
and the closed eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the worst cards ever for a legendary player. It's horrible.
Yeah,
sorry.
It really.
Look at his legs. His legs are ridiculous. They look like Oompa Loompas or something like that.
And when a card has the title of being one of the worst cards of in the history of hockey cards from say the 50s, 60s, 70s, does that give it any special charm at all?
Probably.
Maybe it does, right?
Maybe the worst card that actually matters, right?
Yeah. All right, we've got this is interesting. Just a 1970 O-Pee-Chee checklist, PSA 8, top 15% eye appeal. Checklists were meant to be marked up, and when they're not, they are pretty special. So pretty cool. Probably $775. It's the same price as a Hall of Fame rookie card of Daryl Sittler right now. Who's actually a player, which is kind of funny. They're the exact same price. One's a checklist, one's a Hall of Fame rookie card. But those set collectors, those PSA set registry people, they need this card. So it's going to, I'm sure it's going to do well. It's already doing quite well. And the Sittler, top 30% eye appeal, very important card from the 1970 set, along with the Gilbert Perreault. This is a PSA 6, notoriously off-centered, as this copy here is as well, but it's pretty nice. That top border might be the skinniest. The left to right centering is actually pretty good for the issue. Somewhat recently graded, really nice copy right there on the Perreault. I do like that example of it. And 6 is when it comes to the Gilbert Perreault, if you're used to collecting 8s for rookie cards in the 70s, your Perreault can be a 7. If you're used to collecting 7s, your Perreault can be a 6, just because that's how hard they are to find. So this is a great opportunity to pick up a nice Gilbert Perreault. Anything on those, Josh?
No, great run overview.
We've got the 71 O-Pee-Chee Guy Lafleur PSA 7 with exceptional eye appeal, which makes me wonder, why is it only a 7? Let's see if we can figure that out just by looking at the front. Maybe the top left corner's got a little bit of stock showing, maybe a small scratch right there on the surface between the A and the N. A bit of an edge dimple right there. That could be it as well, because the registration and the color look really, really good. Nice bold color. Another little dimple right there on the edge. Yeah, I mean the card does present well. I have no issue with the eye appeal, and the centering is great though. The centering is really strong. I think eye appeal is very appropriate in this case, but it is the right eye appeal. It's the top 15%. I think it does. I think that makes sense to me. This card looks from here, it looks like a 9. When you zoom in, you see those little edge defects. You can see why maybe it isn't. And then of course we haven't even looked at the back, but there could be issues on the back as well. Couple of Gretzky rookies, 4 Gretzky rookies. We have an O-Pee-Chee BCCG8, which it's kind of funny. People don't even know what BCCG is oftentimes, but this was kind of just a discount Beckett grading service. They stopped doing it a long time ago, but it is a Beckett product. And typically the grades are like way more than what they would be if it was actually graded. So, it's kind of just best to, use your own judgment. Don't go by the grade on these cards because we don't really know what this would have really graded. But if we look at it, I mean, it's a bit of a mess, right? Like it's super off-centered and it's got counterclockwise tilt. It's got very rough edges, but not too rough, not to the point where you can see that like the cardstock coming all the way down, which I'm glad it doesn't have that amount of roughness. Lower right corner certainly has a bit of a ding on it. Registration's okay. Yellow plate's off a little bit, but the magenta on the oil drop is perfectly placed. That's a perfectly placed oil drop there. Not the yellow plate, but the magenta, just actually like bang on. Yeah, I mean you can see when you look at the word Oilers, you can see the yellow coming off low and to the right. So, but it's the centering that really bothers me the most on this card. It's off-centered and a little bit of counterclockwise tilt. Josh, what do you think about this copy?
I'm just such a centering snob. It's hard to get past that. But what I will say about the rough cut is that's kind of the amount I like, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot there, but I like it as well. I do like the rough cut as well. All right, let's go on to the next Gretzky rookie, which is an O-Pee-Chee PSA 7 that's getting top 30% eye appeal. All right, guys, we're going to dig into this. Let's assess the card and the rating. First of all, look at how clean these edges are. Like, they're not perfect. They're not sharp like a Topps card, but they're very clean. And I like it like that too. I don't mind. I don't mind a lack of rough cut. Bottom left corner does show a little bit of white on the tip. Bottom right corner does not. It's good. A little bit of fray, but that's okay. Oil drops offset to the right a little bit of magenta shadow coming off the bottom of the legs. White, the blue and the black lines up perfectly though, which I really like to see. Going up the card, edges are really nice. Oilers and Edmonton on the same plane. Yeah, that's a really nice copy for a 7. Good color. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that eye appeal. I think they might have nailed it there. Yeah, this is a nice card. It's a really nice card. Top 30% Fanatics eye appeal, and outside of the registration, guys, like I'm actually wondering, how about top to bottom centering? Oh yeah, side to side is really, really nice. Top to bottom, it's a little bit high, but not that bad. Yeah, this is a great copy. This is a really nice 7. I agree with the above average eye appeal on this, and to a degree, I wonder if this could ever slide into an 8 holder on a good day, or if the top to bottom centering would preclude that. It might, but that's a really, really nice looking card. What's Sundin saying? A slight slant cut. So are you talking about tilt? I don't know what slant cut means, Sundin. Slant. I don't know what slant cut means. I understand diamond cut. I think what you mean is tilt. And yeah, I do see slight clockwise tilt on that now that you mention it. Yeah, thank you. And I do agree with you, Sundin. I do see that as well. Just to show everybody again, as you go up the right side, the border narrows out a little bit. And as you come down the left, it thins out. Pretty mild though, not too bad. I don't get dizzy by this card. Like it's minor enough that I see it, but it wouldn't stop me from wanting to own the card. Yeah, it's pretty nice copy. Your thoughts on that one, Josh?
Yeah, it is a nice copy. And I was just looking up some price history to see where this sort of is falling right now with bids. And when you look at like the last year of values on this card, it really underscores how big of the condition spectrum, even within a single grade like PSA 7, is going to factor into the price. This card is sold for as low as like $3,700 to $10,000 in the past year.
In the past year, 10,000 for a 7 in the past year.
Yep, there was October 26th at one of the other auction companies.
Yeah.
It's over $9,900. A very nice looking OPG 7 as well.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that's nice to know. If nothing else, I like to know that. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We've got a Topps BGS 7 and a Topps BGS 8. We'll take just a quick look at the Topps copies. 7 looks good. It does have the fisheye in the bottom right corner, which we've seen before. Maybe this card has several other lighter fisheyes throughout. This could be a repeat listing, or maybe it wasn't paid, or maybe not. I'm not sure. Someone else can let us know. The 8, let's have a look at the 8 now and see what we see here. So we are seeing the clockwise tilt like we saw in the OPG 7. It's slight. You're seeing centering, it's a little bit low, but not bad. Otherwise, I mean, this card's nice. I'm not, little bit of white showing the tips of the top corners. Yeah, I don't know that this is a PSA 8 though, guys. That white on the top of the tips of the top 2 corners, I think those right there are going to preclude it from being a PSA 8 on this Topps copy. Josh, do you see the comment that Daniel just put in the chat?
Yeah. No, it's not an autograph, and it was verified by Card Ladder too. So
a legit sale, a legit copy there. Okay, Joe Sakic, Topps rookie with an on-card auto, which is a pretty nice autograph there in black. $60 right now. Just nice card. If you're someone who collects the autograph Hall of Fame rookies, there's an opportunity on a Joe Sakic. Let's go to page 2, guys. Mario Lemieux, finest refractor, PSA 9, Pop 14, 4 higher at $84. We've got the Summit Artist Proof Gretzky in an SGC 6. I own a copy of that card. It's in a tag 9 on my wall right there. Beautiful card. This card, it's cheap, $42, even in a 6. That might be high for a 6. I don't know, maybe just because it's great. These are I love this particular Gretzky card. Bought one myself. I think I bought mine for $50 raw at the National in 2019, if I remember correctly, and I had tag slab it. And a 1997 Pinnacle Zenith Z Gold. Guys, these cards are tough. These are like one of the better cards from the 90s as far as a parallel goes. And like the Gretzky's a big card. Here's the Yzerman. A PSA 6 is at $320. That should tell. Josh, have you familiarized yourself yet with 97 Zenith or the Z Golds? Have you ever done a deep dive? I know you guys do deep dives on the Gong Show. Have you ever dived into this set?
No, and we probably should. You don't see them very often.
No, because they're
hardly ever.
Yeah. No, it's these are numbered on the back, and they're a very popular card amongst 90s collectors and player collectors. But yeah, we don't see them too much. Yeah, I'd love to hear the Gong Show do a dive into that one. If it ever makes one of your polls, I'll vote that way. Finest refractor, Jaromir Jagr, 1998 in the PSA 9 at $40, and a Gretzky Gold Label Class 1 from 98 at PSA 10. It's at $210. Same question on this, Josh. Have you guys ever, I don't even know how to say it, dived into the Gold Label Class cards from Topps 1998? Because I don't understand how this set is built.
I was just gonna say no, but I would like to try to unpack what Class 1, Class 2. It kind of reminds me of the. I see these cards and the Flair ones that like from Flair Retro that I get all confused about those two.
Good opportunity. We could. I'd love to learn that via the Gong Show. And then we have a 1998 Upper Deck Choice Prime Choice Reserve Dominic Hasek out of 100. These, I gotta tell you, I don't know many people that covet these cards, but I do know some, and they love them. Now, the people, I'm thinking of one guy in particular, and he loves hockey and basketball cards. And I think he is interested in the Prime Choice Reserves. I believe that his love of basketball cards causes him to, or at least not cause him, but allows him to appreciate them in hockey. So he understands them and really likes them. It's out of 100 as well. Like, you know, they are actually fun to look at. You hold them under the light. They have all sorts of, you can kind of see it in the image here that they've got this, you can see this almost like a cracked ice look, but it actually says Prime Choice Reserve. That's what that pattern is. It's actually letters. So kind of cool. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see this card sell for a lot more than $52. Pop one, none graded higher. That's a good card, right? I like it. That's all I'll say there. Josh, how about you? There's another question, Josh. Prime Choice Reserves. No,
and it just underscores how much you know, the last couple of years has been pretty strong, I would say, for mid to late 90s hockey. Like, we've seen Run for the Cups, we've seen you know, certified mirror golds, atomic refractors go, but there's so many, you know, this whole row of cards, you know, some of the finest refractors are so nice. And, you know, there's a lot of room to grow for that niche part of the hobby, I think.
agreed. No, yeah, that's you know, and I say this a lot, that even with, you know, decades in the hobby, I still discover new cards, and this Prime Choice Reserve is one that I wasn't even really aware of until a couple of years ago. So when you say, Josh, that there's still, you know, room to grow, room to learn new things, the 90s is a treasure trove of cards that a lot of us just aren't aware exist, and then you find out about them and you're like, okay, well, maybe I need to make some of them mine.
Well, and if I can
Before
even,
yeah.
sorry, I just want to add one more quick thing to that. You know, my focus had been much more ultra modern until the past year, and then I kind of opted out of Bedard Palooza. I just didn't want to pay the tax on all the boxes, and so I kind of made the conscious decision that, well, I'm going to focus on mid to late 90s and early 2000s, and had the best time. It's like been my funnest year ever collecting, and I've learned so much, and there's still so much left to learn. Like, you could spend years, you know,
Yeah.
really learning the sets in this part of the hobby.
100%. So we're talking, guys, if you just joined us, we're kind of focusing on just some of these obscure 90s low numbered sets, the Z Golds from Zenith from 1997, the Gold Label classes from Topps 1998, and the Prime Choice Reserve from Upper Deck Choice in 1998 as well. Okay, we've got a row of Ovechkin's 5 Ovechkin rookie cards all among us right now, guys. We've got the SP Authentic, like XRC Redemption. This is a redeemed card. It's a 725 and a BGS 9. We've got the SP Game Used and a SGC 8.5 at 210. We've got an autograph printing plate from the Cup at 12 and a quarter. We've got his Ultimate Rookie at a 299 at 2,500. A PSA 6 Young Guns at 5 and a quarter. Josh, what do you think of all? I mean, I don't really, you know, these cards, we've seen them. The only thing I want to do actually is look at the autograph on the Ultimate card here. Let's do this. I'm just going to back up there so we don't lose our spot. Have a look at this autograph. Make sure we like it. We do. I feel like we've seen 229 of 299 a few times, Josh. I don't know why that serial number rings a bell to me, but this is a, you know, nice copy auto. Looks really good as well. Right there. What are your thoughts on these Ovechkins, Josh?
I love the Ultimate Rookie Auto. I'm also a big fan of the XRC, and I'm maybe a little bit on the minority in that I'm not a big fan. It's right there. I've never really loved the sort of mechanical look of the SP Game Used, and I know a lot of people do love it, but it's just for whatever reason never really struck a chord with me.
Understood. I hear you. You know what happened is I unchecked the checklist. So the checklist is what moved everything around. I forgot to recheck it. We have a honorable numbers Peter Stastny from the second year Cup 2006 at $64 right now, and his stuff does really well. There's some very dedicated collectors out there. So I don't know, you know, I'm not sure if they're watching Fanatics Collect. I hope they are, but let's see if this card jumps at all, because the card out of 26 from second year Cup 64 seems pretty cheap. It's actually extended into the next window already, so we know there is action on it here in extended bidding. Dale Hawerchuk scripted swatches from the Second Year Cup 2006. It's one of my guys, Dale Hawerchuk, one of my favorite player growing up as a kid. Cards number 2025. It's silver auto on the black, so you can see it quite nicely. All sorts of stitching. This is a legend game, like an alumni game patch. It's not from a Winnipeg Jets jersey. Just keep that in mind, but still a pretty cool card right there. Mark Messier, Jambalaya. I find, Josh, that 2009 is the toughest year of Jambalaya to find anywhere of any player. This is the Mark Messier at $88 right now with an SGC 9.5. Do you agree with that? I think I mentioned that last week too. Do you agree with that, Josh?
Yeah, and it's maybe my favorite design too. I love the colors. I always equate we know from talking with Gene McLeod that the name Jambalaya is really a basketball reference to jamming a basketball, but I always think of more like the food and the New Orleans vibe to it, and the purple and green. I don't know. I think it is my favorite design, and this is a pretty awesome card for, again, $88.
Yeah,
and a high grade. These are tough to find centered, I think, often.
Yeah, it's I'm with you. And Messier in his Oiler days, he's got 5 cups there. It's a pretty cool card right there. Pretty cool card. And you mentioned how Gene McLeod says jambalaya. It's like jamming the ball. But there's our what was his name? Our local announcer here used to always just in calling the games, they jam away at it, like jam to score with a puck, not in basketball. So jam, I think, would also apply to hockey, even though Gene McLeod might not have been aware of that, which is totally fine. 2011 Contenders NHL Inc. Ovechkin SGC 9 at $330, and a PMG green from 2012 Flair Retro, Josh Madigan's favorite product in the history of hockey cards. In a PSA 7, 10 copies made, is at $875. Josh, any comments on the Ovechkin or the PMG green?
I think that Panini Ovi auto card is super nice, and I'm a little surprised it's $330.
How big the auto is.
I know. You don't get that nice of an auto typically with Ovi. You get a little tiny scribble, right? I would say he's got probably, of all the superstar players, he's probably got the worst auto. Is that fair to say? The least visually appealing auto of those?
Yeah, probably.
But I think at $330, that this is a nice card. It's a very nice card.
Yeah, it's a great looking auto, and 7's pretty much like a 9 as far as PMG goes, relatively speaking. Before we go on, guys, before we go on to this next row, we'll just hover here for a moment. I want to go to comments because it's been quite some time. So first of all, this is going back already half an hour. Thorson said, I think the Cole Harbor boys reunited the deadline, Crosby to Colorado. Linda says, Sid ain't going nowhere, Pitt for life. And I'm hoping that's the case myself. Daniel says, Pittsburgh franchise is hanging on by a thread. Crosby is still signed for another 2 seasons after this one. I can't see him being traded. I hope he doesn't get traded. Doghouse, I think Pittsburgh will be making some surprising moves. And Michael says, Dubas is going to have a fire sale, but Sid stays. What happens to Malkin? What happens to Letang? Richie Rocket says, the Hall is we did that one. Linda says, on the slab or not, the scratch crease is very distracting. That's the Esposito. Yeah, but you can deal with it, so it's not the end of the world. It might be a good opportunity, actually, right there. Bye-bye Bills. Yep. KC to the Super Bowl again. Yep. LGC on the 1970 Ore is a very popular card because the Bruins won the Cup before its issue, and there are 5 other Ores cards in the set. Found Treasures, welcome to the show. Luongo Collector, welcome to the show. Good evening. Daniel says, no, it was not autographed, Daniel. That was a really good question by you there. Producer Louie, what's going on, producer? Professor, good evening to you. What's going on? Mike Double V, love the Upper Deck choice when it came out. Mr. Manos, good to see you. Linda says, if you think gold label's confusing, check out the fractal matrix parallels in Leaf. No doubt those are tough too. I think Michael says, I think the 08 Jambalaya and with the red and blue are tougher. So, I mean, I'll tell you, there was a point in time I had like 80 Jambalayas, between 08, 09, 2012, 13, 14, whatever those years were. I had 2 from 2009. and I had like a dozen from 2008. So for me and my experience, Michael, it's the 09s that are the toughest. But you know what you've been seeing, it's the 08s that have been tougher for you. I hear you. I mean, can't explain that, but just my personal experience has been the other way. Mr. Manos, honestly love hockey because as a kid, one of my good friends' dad would take us to watch the pros. Loved the way they showed love by passing us the pucks. That's awesome. And Ali, what's going on, Ali? That photo on the Messier Jambalaya is the same as the 2012 Essential Credentials future. Yeah, not surprised, but nice to know. Nice to know. Okay, Josh, we have the best hockey player to ever play the game, the best person to ever be called a professional athlete in the history of the world, Teemu Selanne, the Finnish Flash. This is his 2012 Prism Gold, numbered out of 10 and a BGS 9.5. It's at a measly $675. Josh, Teemu's my guy. You know, this is my favorite professional athlete of all time right here. 2012 Prism is, I believe, the best year of the nicest Prism designs. 2013 is beautiful too. I love it as well, but I like 12 a little bit more design wise. And this is a beautiful. This image does not do it much justice. This thing is a lot brighter. I have a copy. It's actually on my desk right now. I still have it here from Wednesday when I showed it on the Gong Show. Here's my copy in a Tag 10 pristine holder. So I got my copy already, guys. I can't wait to find out. Hopefully, whoever wins this lets me know, and we can be card bros. But great card right here, Josh. I love it, of course. I own a copy. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think this is a huge card. As you know, this is kind of my jam, right? I collect non-auto, non-patch, non-memorabilia cards, and I'm sitting here trying to think, is there a Teemu card in the 2000s that isn't a limited logos, that again is non-auto, non-memorabilia, that is more important than this card? And I don't know.
Well, the only one that I can think of would be, and it's also out of 10, is this PMG green. I mean,
yeah,
that's now, but then I think to myself, well, Upper Deck is, they've really exploited the PMG. So personally, and I owned the green as well, the PMG green from 2012, Teemu Selanne. Which card do I prefer? For this one, I'm going to say I prefer this one. I prefer the Prism Gold to the PMG green. So to answer, I think I just answered your question in the affirmative. Like I'm with you on that, but I could see the greater hobby putting the PMG green ahead of the Prism Gold. I'm not sure. What does the chat think? What's the more important card for your player, guys? Is it if they have them both, is it the 2012 PMG green out of 10 or the 2012 Prism Gold out of 10? What do you guys think is more important?
Does he have a low number at Essential Credentials?
Nah, I don't know if he has anything under 10.
Yeah. That's the only other option that I could think of. I don't know, man. That's so tough. But I think that the larger point is at $675, if you're a Teemu Selanne fan, like this is it. We're arguing, is this the best card in the last 25 years for him that doesn't feature an auto or a mem patch? And so, that makes this card a big deal.
It certainly does. It certainly does. I'm just looking through my Essential Credentials collection, and the only Selanne that I have is the future from 2012, and the numbering's on the back, but I'm sure it's not. It's higher than 10. I'm almost certain of that. Although it might be so high that the reason I don't have the yellow is because that one is so low, because I don't have the yellow, the now. Okay, so LGC says gold. He likes the gold better, so he's on. I'm kind of on that same page. Michael says, I just like refractors and or prisms so much more than PMGs, and anything numbered to 10 is awesome. Yeah, I mean, can't really lose either way. Well, we'll see what this ends at. Here's the second year Prism Gold. It's the Jonathan Huberdeau. This one's also out of 10. It's a PSA 10. It's at $115, pop 3. Huberdeau has really been picking it up for my Calgary Flames lately. So I don't collect Huberdeau. I don't even collect Flames cards. But if I did, I wouldn't want him in a Panthers uniform. I'd want him in a Flames uniform. But that's just me, guys. Still a great card if you are working. A lot of people are working on this. Well, not a lot. Some people are working on this set, or just like to pick up Prism Golds whenever they possibly can. 2013 totally certified green Alex Ovechkin auto out of 5 in an SGC 8.5 holder. Josh, what do you think about this sort of, I'll call it the Christmas card, because it's the opposite of a color match. Red and green kind of sit, not close to each other on the color wheel. What are your thoughts on this card?
Actually, I do have thoughts on this card. So I want to compare this back to the Panini unnumbered with the very large OV auto. One of the things we were actually talking on when we recorded tomorrow's Gongshow podcast, or I don't know if maybe this was somebody else. Sorry, is sure the totally certified is out of 5, but is that a meaningful rarity, right? Is it worth paying a premium for that card to be out of 5? It's like I think I'd rather have the the white one, the horizontal with the big auto, where I'm not paying the tax for an out of 5 that is fairly, there's no significance to that in the hobby, that card being out of 5. Am I making sense in that regard?
100%. I could not agree more. I love what you're saying, Josh, because what you're saying is, first of all, this is a beautiful card up here. This NHL Link is a beautiful card. It's not numbered, but it's beautiful. Then you got this card here, which is probably going to sell for more only because it's out of 10. Because first of all, it's ugly. Like, this is, to me, my personal, subjective opinion. This is just that green against the red. It's just, this is an ugly card to me. The autograph's a lot smaller as well. Like, compared to the big auto here, I would take the bigger auto over the smaller one. The only thing that makes this card important, outside of being an on-card Ovechkin auto, is the numbering. I don't think that Panini Totally Certified is a set that hockey collectors are clamoring to buy singles from. So I think I'm saying the same thing you did, just in different words. I completely agree.
Is that a sticker auto on the green one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, but
okay.
let's just.
No,
I don't think so. Oh, I'm seeing a faint line.
That's what.
Oh,
it is a sticker.
What? It is a sticker. I can see another outline over here and over here. Wow, that that's hard to see, but that I can see it right there. That is a sticker, and that I mean, everything I've said so far was assuming it was on card, guys. So now you can just amplify whatever negative I said about this card because it's on a sticker. I don't like sticker autos personally. Good call, though, Josh. Thank you. Andrei Vasilevsky, exquisite collection RPA, $200. That's too cheap. It's too cheap for an exquisite RPA Vasilevsky. That's the Tampa. I guess he plays in Tampa, and it's out of 88. It's not out of 15 or 23 or whatever. It's out of 88, which puts it closer to his. Well, then again, his Cup RPA is out of 249. It's not even out of 99. So this might be his best RPA. $200. Good God, that's cheap. I think so. Josh, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I love this card. It's a great deal for what will be a Hall of Fame goalie.
Exactly. Yes. Chef Young Walter, this Sunday nights we only cover the hockey here on Sports Cards Live with Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gongshow. So we're not going to be looking at non-hockey, but appreciate you jumping in regardless. Ali says that OV auto card is a Christmas card. 100% it is. 100%. Josh is the savvy OV auto collector. And okay, that's good for comments. So we're caught up there. We have a Connor McDavid Young Gun BGS 9.5 at 975. It looks to have straight 9.5. So a true, I believe, unless there's a 10 in there. No, all 9.5s, true gem mint right there. And we've got the Henrik Lundqvist Essential Credentials, the Now from 2016. This card is now it's numbered, but they don't have it. Why don't they put it in the description, the numbering on it, right? It's numbered on the back. I'm going to show you guys, and it's numbered low. Guys, only 7 copies of this card. Only 7 copies, and Fanatics didn't even put that in the title. If I'm the consigner of that card, I would have called them and said, hey, you got to edit the title and put 7 in there. Because a lot of these are out of 30 or low 40s or 20s. 7 is like, that's in the area where a lot of people might want it just because it's out of 7. So if you weren't aware of that, guys, this is out of 7. And it's Lundqvist. I say all that, and then I look at the slab, and it's in an SGC where they put it right on the holder. So maybe that's why they don't put it in the title, but I'm still surprised they didn't. But I believe it's his lowest numbered essential credentials of all his credentials. So this is a great card. If you're a Rangers fan or you're a Lundqvist guy, you like rare essential credentials, you got to grab this card. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if it fits into your collection, you got to grab it, Josh. I mean, are you surprised?
Yeah, kind of. We put him on the Rangers Hobby Mount Rushmore a week or so ago, and just an amazing career. I think his work with TNT has really elevated in the past. He's been great on that show, and uh, has elevated his hobby status a little bit. I mean, that's important. Some of these guys just sort of disappear
Yeah.
and buy a cabin and stay out of the limelight. And he's, I think, done well for his exposure in that regard. And I agree with you, man. This is a nice card, and for $145, wow.
Yeah. 145 plus 29 gets you to what's that, 174? I mean, with the buyer's premium for the I think that's a great
and
card.
can I make a point here? Like, going back to the Obi card, to me, anyways, this is an out of 7 that matters.
Right. Yes.
Where the Obi auto out of 5 does not matter at all.
True story right there. I couldn't agree more. Okay. Well, let's keep on rolling. Hopefully somebody jumps on that. Here is a Matthew Tkachuk rookie year essential credentials. This is so if this one up here is the now, this is the future, which makes sense. He was going to be, this is a rookie year card, and this is out of 9. So on this one, Fanatics Collect put 1 of 9 in the title. They didn't do it for Lundqvist for some weird reason. 1 of 9 as well. Grading a 9, that's a good grade for these cards. Like, I have a few of them, and these cards they're not the easiest to grade at times. Matthew Tkachuk right there, another great card, guys, that I really like. We have a PSA 10, Austin Matthews Young Gun at 700, which is 840 out the door right now. And then we have what we recently was talking about somewhere. Was that on the Gong Show, Josh?
I think so, yeah. We had that discussion.
Austin Matthews 2017 Synergy base card. This is what they called the true base, even though it's numbered out of 17. It's actually where you see the dark acetate, because Fanatics uses a black background. This is actually clear. It's like a silver acetate almost. It's just a clear acetate. Awesome cards here. SGC 8, $100 right now. And I can tell you, of the 17, I think I still own 2 of them. I might only own 1. I might have sold one, but I own 2 of these at one time. And I think I paid $100 for the second one, Canadian, which is what, $1.50 US. Just kidding. But again, these are cards that I'm a big fan of the Synergy true base cards myself. Josh, what about you? Your thoughts on the Tkachuk and if you wanted to opine on the Matthews Young Gun, but the Matthews Synergy?
Yeah, the pretty nice rookie card for Matthew Tkachuk. Again, very low numbered. And how you may be asking, well, how is the essential credentials future low numbered for Tkachuk, even though it's card number 34? It's because it goes in reverse order. That's why the Henrik Lundqvist for the now is low numbered as well, because that goes in chronological order. So he was card number 7. It's out of 7. There's 42 cards in the set. And so being card number 34 in reverse order, it makes it Matthew Tkachuk out of 9. Once you understand that, the whole essential credentials thing gets easier to comprehend. But I really love that. And I echo what you're saying too. A 9 is pretty much as good as it gets. I mean, you can't be, anything but happy with that. Really
quick, because there's 28 seconds where these cards sell. I was looking at this earlier. This Upper Deck Extended Series Gold Kaprizov out of 75. A Kaprizov rookie card out of 75 for $125. Josh, what's this card all about?
Well, that was the in Extended Series, it was a common insert, and so this would be a parallel of that. But it did have like a really nice kind of refracting, even the base to it. And during the pandemic, these cards were selling for a lot, and then they weren't anymore. And so I don't know, if you like the card, obviously being out of 75 is better than the base.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that Matthews that we were just looking at has now sold for $120, so it did not get any further bids. Let's just see what's going on. Okay, so we're into the 5-minute windows now. There's the Matthews. It had sold right there. Okay, and that was the end of page 2. Good. So we can go to page 3 now. We'll close up this Kaprizov, and we've got the Ovechkin Now, this is not the true base. This is the purple parallel number to the player's jersey number. And this one is out of 8 on the Ovechkin. And I picked this on the Gong Show. I own a copy of this. I actually have it right here on my table. I have this one here. It's the same card, but mine is the 8 of 8, which I just thought was really cool. I also have the McDavid to go along with it. It's out of 97. I'm not showing this to flex or anything. I'm just showing you that personally, I like these synergy cards. I have my fair share of them. And you buy this, we're going to be card bros right there. Josh, jump in if you want. I just want to get to the bottom of this page as quick as possible here. Another synergy, Ovechkin. This is 2020, numbered out of 21, sells for $62. Exquisite Collection Cole Perfetti, our limited logos at $160. The McDavid 2022 synergy base out of 13 sold for $384. Taylor Hall on Boston cup patch is at $230. Connor McDavid green foil button card from the cup sold for $840. I'm not a big fan of the green button cards, Josh. They're too thick for me. I've never been a fan of them myself. Connor Bedard, Speed of Light, I believe that is. Speed of Light, Speed of Sound, out of 99, sells for $56. $600 for his Premium Emerald Stars auto. And then we have the Cosmic out of 65, PSA 10s at 775, while his Purple Pixels right now is at 430. The dual, the checklist with Carlson and Bedard, the Red Outburst out of 25, is sitting at $600 right now, pop 3 and a PSA 10. And then we've got a couple of, what do we have? 2 PSA 10 Young Guns. They're at $480 each, which is what, $576 with buyer's premium. If they don't get any more bids, that's the lowest that I'll have seen for some time. And then a Nathan McKinnon Young Guns renewed with artwork by Luke the Cardist, numbered out of 100, sells for $210. Okay, Josh, any comments on anything on this page?
Nope.
Ali has a question for you, and I want to get to the card really quick. Let's just go back to this card for Ali. This card right here, he says, what are your thoughts on the 04 SP Authentic Redemption? I really like it. I'm thinking of bidding. I think we both really like this card, Ali. Josh, I know you like it a lot. Why don't you share your thoughts again?
Yeah, I was trying to think of like the most significant XRCs in the hobby, and to me, this could be one of them, right? And because it tells part of the story of the lockout and how it was never really intended. Of course, we think of Crosby and Ovechkin in the dual rookie class, but really it was never intended to be that way. It was intended for Ovechkin to be a 2004 rookie, and so this is kind of the one card that ties him to that intended rookie year. And I don't know if that's just my own romanticizing of the situation, but to me, and it's kind of a cool card too.
And I'm thinking, I feel like Crosby has a card, the same card. Doesn't Crosby have one of these redemptions from 04 as well?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think he does, because what you just said makes so much sense, right? That he was the first overall draft pick in 04, Crosby in 05. So there was a lockout in 04-05. Ovi doesn't get a card. Let's take players that would have had a rookie and given them a redemption. But I feel, he does.
He has.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll just go back to my own fantasy world.
No, but what you said, no, it's okay. What you said should be the situation, but Upper Deck snuck him in there anyway. So, but Ali, we both really like the card. I mean, I've said that several times on the show as we've seen them before. Mr. Manos likes the Matthews synergy. Did you win it, Mr. Manos? And by the way, as I forgot to mention, the Sports Cards Live affiliate link is in the description. Now you can click on it in the description and bid from there. If you don't mind, we'll earn a small commission and greatly appreciate your support. Jason says, hey, good to see you, Mr. Pringle. Linza says that Kaprizov is a retro card from like 92, 93. Thank you for that. And maybe a collector's choice set from back then. Justin Bode got a bit on the Hasek. You did, huh? And Ali confirms Crosby has that card. And Louis says, you have a very special fantasy world, Josh. Always good seeing Louis in the chat. The Gretzky Gold Label Class 1 sells for $360. Okay, let's go to now. First of all, I'm also watching these auctions on my phone because I kind of might want to place a couple of bids here, but it's so hard to do it and run the show at the same time. I might just have to do it in front of y'all. So let's go to the top of page 1 now and just see what's still going. Sold.
Mm-hmm.
The Hall is still there at 900. The Almond is there at 130. The Cheevers at 480. Those have all sold. The Vachon at 240. Those have all sold. Gretzky BCCG 8 still there at 1475. The 7 sells for 6,900. Good price for a 7, like a good healthy price for a 7. The Sakic Auto Topps rookie is still alive at $68. Let's go to the top of page 2. The Gretzky Artist Proof sold, still going. And if it's red here, we need a bid in the next 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Gretzky sells there. Hasek still going and pushed into the next window. Ovechkin needs a bid now. Ovechkin SP Game U sells. The printing plate auto sells for $3,600. The Ultimate sells for $3,000. 7-ton gun PSA 6, 130 on the Howard Chuck. Ovechkin auto sells for $408. Messier has jumped. Wasn't he at like $80 when we talked about him? Now he's up to $140.
Yeah.
And Patrick Kane, green PMG is up to $975. Solani's been bid up from what? What was he at when we were there before? Like $675. He's at $800 now. Nice to see. And still, well, needs a bid, as do these other two. Christmas Ovechkin got a bid up to $410. Link's $408. Still going. McDavid Young Gun sells the end. Chuck is $840 for the aren't I?
I think you're freezing,
Josh. Yeah.
Is it just me or is Jeremy frozen?
I froze. It's me. Okay. It's me, Josh. It's me.
Okay. I think you're back though.
I'll be back in a moment.
Okay. Great.
Go ahead and talk, Josh, if you can.
Yep. I got it. Any other cards you guys are following? Any other cards you want to talk about? Get opinions on? Okay, Linda or David, you said it. Wait, Michael. Sorry. Jeez. Forgot your name. I think you're back, Jeremy.
Am I back? Okay, yeah, I can see.
You're back.
Yeah, okay, I'm back, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's go to the top of page 1, and we did that already, right? Let's page 2. We're continuing down page 2, and we did that, and then page 3 is over here. So 120, yeah. Okay, I think we're caught up. We've seen everything that's happened so far. 840 on the button card and a humongous holder, which is one of the reasons I just don't like those like 360 point cards. The Shield, the Taylor Hall Shield sells for $276 and 600 on that. 930 on the Cosmic Bedard, and the Young Gun sell for his Young Gun is down to $576 twice tonight, right there. Nathan McKinnon sells for $210. So now, what I'm gonna, Jason Pringle asks, what's the grade on the Cheevers? The Cheevers is graded a PSA 7 with above average eye appeal there. LGC won the Sittler. Winner Sittler Chicken Dinner. Congratulations, LGC. If you didn't use the Sports Cards Live affiliate code, please do before you pay. Greatly appreciate that, and thank you for the support. Janj's collection, that Eiserman's Eagle. Yeah, we were just talking about it for sure. We were talking about that. Cheevers. Did I not give you Cheevers? I gave you Cheevers. Yeah, it's a PSA 7, Jason. PSA 7. Oh, you're just correct. I knew what Chivers meant. I knew what Chivers meant. We all did. We all knew it. The Esposito does $1260. Okay. Now, I do want to see if there's something I want to bid on. So, give me a second, guys. Okay, I'm good on the vintage here. I'm not bidding. Okay, it's page 2. Anything I want? I mean, I'd love to buy so many cards. I'm not going to, though. No. Uh-oh. The Messier, is it still going? Messier is still going. I'm not going to buy the Messier. So I might be back. Okay. I do like this Hasek. I like the Hasek. Oh, gosh. Close that up. We'll close that up for now. Maybe I'm not bidding on anything. I know I might have got you guys excited. I really like this McDavid too, Josh, like earlier in the week. Really liked that.
You don't want another Timu to be buddies with one you have?
I have one. I mean, I have so many other. I don't need to. I'm not. You know what? Let somebody else get it. I don't want to stop somebody else from getting that card in their collection. Like they're tough cards, you know. So it's sold. It's sold for $960. The $800 win took it home. Congratulations to my new card bro on that one. And I think that's a great price. I mean, for a BGS 95, 960. I think that's a pretty good price. He's under. You know, I realized watching a Solani and a Pavel Bure card sell recently. The same card, the Platinum Gold, recently they both sold on the same night somewhere. And the Solani or the Bure sold for like double the Bure sold for double the Solani. Same card, same grade, same print run and everything. And I mean, I'm not convinced that Bure is twice the player that Solani was, but maybe he has twice the fan base or was, you know, a more electrifying for a longer time than Timu was. But that just tells me there's good value in Timu in the market. Like you can buy him pretty well. Yeah. Jason Pringle says that's a good looking 7. I wish I could see it, but I'm driving down Highway 1. Well, just drive safe, Jason. Yeah. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the road, buddy. Keep your eyes on the road for sure. Okay, so Josh, now we're just going to do the old refresh thing and see what's left. Okay.
Sounds good.
And are we down to 1 page total? Because will they all be on here now? Yeah, there's no more on page 2 or 3. So I'm just going to close these other windows, and we're down to these cards here, guys. Just under 3 minutes left in this bidding window. We are left with the Red Outburst checklist with Carlson and Bedard. The Cole Perfetti limited logos. I believe it's probably I'm guessing it's a rookie year card. I think it's rookie year 2021. Do you know? You might know that, Josh. Yeah. Josh, are you able to in your head go through from the Connor McDavid year of 2015 through 2024 and know who like the top 5 or 10 rookies are in each of those years?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I would give myself. I'm sure I would stumble on something. I do have to correct you though. It's Cole Perfetti Mom's Spaghetti. That's the correct
proper way of saying his name. Is that the correct spelling?
Yes, Cole Perfetti Mom's Spaghetti.
You know, because Josh, I can go back to 1910. I can go from 1910 till about 2011, and I can tell you the rookies in every year. Not all of them, but the main ones and even some next level. But after 2011, I lose it. Like I know 15 is McDavid, 16 is Matthews, and I know some of the others. You know, I guess I know McKinnon's 2013. I know some others, but I really lose it in about 2018 forward, where it's just like my brain can't handle all that information. So between you and me, I think we have it all covered, and that's a good thing.
2017 and 2018 are the toughest ones for me.
Is Makar 19 or 18?
19. So 19. You have in 19 you have Makar and Jack Hughes.
Okay, so that's easier.
So you have a bunch of big ones, and then in 16 you have Matthews and Marner, and of course in 15 there's McDavid, and it gets a little. I just mix up 17 and 18 people occasionally.
Pedersen's in one of those years, right?
18, I believe.
I think so. I think he is. I get him confused too, dude. All right. Well, back to the cards, though. 47 seconds, guys. If it has red here, like this Ovechkin number 2 of 8, it's at $70. And bid needs to be placed, or else it's going to sell for $84 out the door. Perfetti's at $195. The checklist is going into the next window. All 3 of these are going to be extended already into the next 5-minute window, guys. 30 seconds to get a bid in on anything with red, like the Patrick Kane PMG Green. It's at $1,050. It's about to sell in 20 seconds unless it gets a bid. These 3, only the Yager Finest Refractor needs a bid. The other 2 are going into the next window, and these 3 are all going into the next window, including the Yzerman, which is now up to $400. Let's keep our eyes on the Kane, though, right now here. 3 seconds. If that doesn't turn gray, this card will sell for $1,260, I think. Let's see what happens. $1,260 is what this is sold for. Now, what else is sold? The Kane, the Perfetti does $234. The Ovechkin out of 8 does sell for $84. I love the value on that for the lucky owner of that card. And we're going to hit refresh, Josh, and see what we're down to now. 11 cards left that we are watching. There are more in this auction, of course, but of those that we are watching, only 11 remain. If you're on Instagram, Warrior Bear, feel free to come on over to YouTube. That's where the action really is. Warrior Bear, Tweeter, Bishop, MTJ, whoever's on Instagram, feel free to come over to YouTube. Mr. Manos, goal. What did you win something, Mr. Manos? I love how we say win. You win the auction, which gives you
lose.
Which gives you the ability to pay for it. LGC says, wow, how much PMGs have fallen. Yeah, they've fallen from their peak, but they're still way up from 2019, 2020, like way up from 2019. That Patrick Kane that sold tonight for $1,260 in 2019, you could have bought that for probably under $200. So
I was just looking that up.
Yeah.
So I have the prices. So there's been 3 sales prior to this. In the peak was December 11th, 2022 for 2,100 US. Prior to that, it was April 25th, 2021 for 1,300. So it's actually not that far off of that on this card. And then a raw card sold in August for $729.
August of what year?
This past August.
Yeah. So, I mean, there would have been sales back in the 2013s, 14s, 15s.
Sure.
Right? I don't know why we're not, if they're not on Card Ladder, that there would have been, there had to have been, right?
Sure.
And those 2021, 2022s, that was the peak as well. So 1,300, 2,200, we're down to 1,260. That's kind of it's in the right place now. But LGC, like you have to realize not everything, but so many things have fallen since the peak. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those comments where you're not technically wrong in a certain time frame, but they never they went up too high, obviously. So I prefer to zoom out and say these things are still a lot cheaper, a lot more than they were, in 2017, 2018, right leading up until the pandemic, for sure. Mr. Manos, no, just enjoy the look. I'm just a student learning from the masters. Well, glad you're here regardless, and appreciate the compliment. Linda says you have to ignore lockdown prices, in my opinion. Yeah, well, you don't have to. I understand the sentiment. I wouldn't use the word ignore. That's a little bit stronger, but I hear exactly what you're saying, and I agree. They are more like outliers at this point. Mm-hmm. But this comment here on its own, it makes it seem like the sky is falling. You're still up 6 times what you would have paid for them, 2 years before the peak. So that's the way I like to look at it. Yeah, right there. Take a wider view on prices as a whole. Exactly. But by the comment that LGC made, and I've met LGC, nice guy, but I don't know for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me by this comment, LGC, that you maybe got back into the hobby right during COVID. Would that be correct? I'm just curious because that would make sense to me based on the comment, but maybe not. Okay, so what's going on here? We've had more sales or no more sales? No, we're still within the time window here. A minute left, but we need bids on Matthew Tkachuk, Jonathan Huberdeau, Vasilevsky, Lundqvist, and Peter Stastny, which is now up to, what was this at when we first, wasn't this at like $80?
$64 because I was bidding on it. Now I'm out.
It was a 64. It's tripled since I said that.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
The one thing though that gave me pause why I opted out is, what jersey is that? It's not
the same as the Howard Chuck. It's from it's not an NHL game jersey. It's a Legends game jersey.
Oh, okay. Now
you're glad that you're out. Are you happier now that you're out? It says on a game used trading card. On the front of this card is a piece of memorabilia that has been certified to us as having been used in an official game. Doesn't say NHL game though. It says official game. Nowhere does it say NHL in this paragraph. And I would like to compare it to another honorable numbers from 2006-07 to see if other players say NHL on the back of the card. I think that's likely the case. So let's see what just sold as the window ended. The Cheevers sells for $660. The Stastny gets $228. The Huberdeau, $162. And that's it. We lost 3 or 4 cards there, and we are down to 8 cards remaining of the however many that we were watching. Michael says that's a Hall of Fame game jersey. So there was that's the annual Hall of Fame game that takes place during Hall of Fame weekend, and that's what they wear. So Michael, does that mean that because collecting Dale Hawerchuk, I've had a lot of those cards in my collection over the years, the 2006-7 limited logos, the signature patches, the emblems of endorsement from 2006 or 7, I forget which one as well. And I never knew, I never was certain. I knew it wasn't a Winnipeg Jets jersey, so I never cared that much. I just knew it wasn't. So yeah, Jake says, I thought it was an old timers or legends classic. Yeah, so I didn't know which of those it was, but I think the Hawerchuk is the same. Larry Robinson, I believe, is the same from that set. Maybe even like Ron Ellis, who's in some 06 sets as well. Paul Henderson, I think he's the same thing. And outside of maybe one or two of those cards, I've sold them all because I don't care that it's from the Cup or limited logos. If it's from a game other than NHL, I just don't want it anymore. So that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, what about you, Josh? I mean, are you glad you didn't win that Stasny, or do you still like it despite the fact that it's not from an NHL like season game, but from one of these sort of old timers, legends, or Hall of Fame games?
At $100 or less, I don't care. But $200, $300, $400, $500, I'm willing to go up there if it's a Nordiques jersey, game used Nordiques jersey.
Yeah. So Michael clarifies here saying, yeah, it's not the NHL's Hall of Fame game, it's the Legends Hall of Fame. But Michael, I mean, when you said here it's a Hall of Fame game jersey, I mean, oh, I see what you mean. Like I'm okay with that first statement. It's still a Hall of Fame game. It's just the Legends Hall of Fame game, but still the Hall of Fame game, right? So I thought that, but I see I do see the how you're making a distinction there, because maybe he wore it in an actual player Hall of Fame game sort of thing. But I see what you're saying. Jason Pringle says Lanny McDonald. Yes, Lanny as well. A lot of his team memorabilia cards are from old timers and Hall of Fame games. That is true too, Jason. You collect that stuff for sure. Laura says, here's the thought, could there ever be a Skeens card? So you're talking about the MLB debut card, Laura? That must be what you're talking about. And I think the answer is yeah. If Upper Deck could do what Fanatics and Topps was able to do with MLB, which why couldn't they? They're a huge partner of the NHL. Sure they could, and you got to think they're working on it. I mean, don't worry that it was Topps' idea. Copy it for hockey. I think it's a great idea, great innovation, and I hope they do it. I hope they do it. And if they can't, it's because they're just not as convincing as Michael Rubin is. But I think they are. They have a good relationship with Upper Deck. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know why they wouldn't. I've actually had a number of people comment to me, and I don't know how true or not this is, but if it is true, it's mind-blowing and horribly disappointing to me, that said that like players are in the NHL are issued like 2 to 3 jerseys a season. If I'm Upper Deck, I'm literally, because they're not that expensive. I know they cost us $500 at the game, at the team shop in the arena, but believe me, they don't cost $500 to make. For key players in the league, they should be putting on a new jersey every period. Wow. Every single period. And I don't know why Upper Deck wouldn't fund that.
Well, you got to, I hear the first part of, if what you just said was they should like every 80 games a year, so 240 jerseys a year, is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we're just then no one's gonna care anymore. Like there'd be too much, right?
Well, you could, but again, it can't all go to Upper Deck. So my thought is you have 3 jerseys a game for like McDavid, right? Well, that gives you, one goes to McDavid. He gets to keep it, right? He's the player. One goes to the team, and one goes to Upper Deck or the memorabilia companies, right? Because it's not just hockey cards. There's signed, game used McDavid jerseys that get sold too. And if you had 80 of those a year, given all the cards that need to be made, all the signed jerseys that want to be sold, is that really a lot? I don't know.
Well, I think it is, especially compared to what's out there right now. What we have right now. Now, the other thing is that you can go to the MyGray website and look at their population report, and they actually show you what jerseys went to Upper Deck. I only learned this the other day. you're going to need another tool for your toolbox, Josh. I'll send you the link. It was just sent to me 2 days ago by Penguins Chronicles, who tracks all the Lemieux and Crosby stuff and the Penguin stuff. And he shared a link, and I had to ask him, like, well, because you see which cards up or that you saw what, so you can actually know in McDavid's 15-16 year, so cards that came out in his second year for hockey cards, so 16-17, what game the game worn jerseys are from.
Wow.
Yes, dude.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Now, I'll share that with you, because I think you'll get a lot of mileage out of that resource from the content that you do. But in addition, I don't like your idea. I'll be honest. I don't like the idea of that many jerseys getting out there. I don't want Upper Deck to get 80. Now you got 80 Shields. No, those have to remain very limited, 2 to 3 a year, if that sort of thing. So, Penguins Chronicles is in the chat right here. 1 jersey per period is way too much. Ovechkin has jerseys on my gray that they can't even move. The dealer has put its hand too far into the cookie jar. But this is the guy who maintains the Pittsburgh website, and who sent me the link for what I'm talking about, Josh. Penguins Chronicles, if you don't mind, could you send Josh that link? Because I think he'll get a lot of good use out of it. And send the link to your own site too, because I bet Josh can use that information and call and credit you, of course, as well. It's kind of funny. You mentioned somebody randomly in there, and then they pop into the chat, Josh, like that. Okay, LGC said, I think the league and teams want to reduce security risks. I can think of employee theft as a concern. Yeah, that's a good. Listen, though, you put controls in place. I think there's a way around that, but I hear what you're saying, LGC, on that. And more hockey cards, please, says Sidney Crosby is not going to like your jersey idea. Too superstitious. I just don't want the patches to. I don't know. Like, I just remember.
Okay. Can I push back a little bit? So let's say the memorabilia world gets 80 jerseys a year, right? And 50 of those stay intact. It doesn't mean Upper Deck. So let's say they get 30 of them. I think 50 people in the world every year would want to buy a McDavid game used jersey. Now maybe I'm wrong, but feel pretty confident about that. It's not that you're going to use 30 jerseys a year. What about 40 years from now, when they want to make Connor McDavid cards, and you could stockpile memorabilia and have it?
Josh, I don't want them to do that, right? All the money we're spending on these cards now, in 20 years, if they're still making limited logo Connor McDavid's because, the Upper Deck in the league made a deal and they've got 30 jerseys sitting there to spend over 40 years or whatever. Like, they're
making Gretzky cards every year, game used jerseys.
But look, they don't, no, they're putting equipment bags in there. They're putting equipment bags and all sorts of weird stuff, right? How many Oilers jerseys have they ever had? I think it's like 1, right? So that
really?
Well, I think so. I mean, there's not a lot of Gretzky, Oiler Gretzky mem cards out there at all. Patches, like, there's not many of them at all out there. Maybe they've had 2. I don't know for sure, but it's like it's under 3. I think, or 3 or under, I would say. So I hear what you're saying, and I bet Upper Deck would love that. But as a collector, I don't like the idea. I want them to continue to receive as many as they do on the same sort of cadence, because otherwise I just feel like the market will be flooded, or at least relative to the way it is now. Maybe flooded is too strong a word, but let's see what the crowd says here now. Okay, Professor picked up you got the Kachuk. Professor, I love the buy, and it's a rookie. To me, it's a rookie card. It's a rookie year card. Great purchase. Congratulations. I love that card. Penguins Chronicle says McDavid game worn jerseys go for $20K up to $50K depending on the milestone. Are there 50 collectors willing to pay that much every season for a jersey? He says no way. And Josh, jump in if you want to, respond to any of these.
I don't know. I don't know the jerseys as well, but a lot more than the people that pay that for hockey cards every year of his. So doesn't feel that.
That's a good point. People are spending on hockey cards, but yeah. I mean, I've been known to spend it on cards, and I would never spend it on a jersey because I would just never appreciate owning a jersey personally, like a
Yeah, I'm
whole
not a
jersey.
jersey guy either.
Yeah,
But
just me. No, I'm casting no shade on those who collect jerseys. Professor is eyeing the 2 Gretzky Essential Credential cards in next week's auction. Oh, next week is loaded for sure. In the game, had an Oilers jersey, says Sundin. Jandis says, absolutely. Where does it stop? Yep, I think so. LG says, I also think players themselves don't want to dilute their brand and have it become a commodity. I think some players probably care about that more than others, but I think we know that to be a fact that some players certainly do feel that way. Professor says, does not Fanatics do the NHL jersey sales for the clubs? Josh, do you know? I don't know if they're doing them still or what the deal is.
yeah, Fanatics is the official jersey supplier as of this year.
Jacob Dahl says, I'm guessing Upper Deck had at least 2 Gretzky Oiler jerseys, maybe a home and an away. At least 2. Yeah, I mean, where did all that, unless they're still sitting on some of it, where did it all go? Because we haven't seen a lot of it. Linda says, most Gretzky game jersey cards are All-Star and Kings cards. Dr. Price put some Oilers swatches in his In the Game issues back when. Yeah, but Upper Deck does have an Oiler jersey, or they did at one time. We've seen it in, I don't know, some limited logos, some SP Authentic, like limited auto or rookie reviews. It's been in a couple others as well. I just can't think of them. Like maybe an Artifacts one year had something there. Jason Bringle says, I agree. Limiting the market allows the cards to hold value in the long term for game use. And that's what I was trying to get at, Josh, before. Mm-hmm. Penguin Chronicle says, when Lemieux came back in 2001, Mygray wanted the Penguins to have Lemieux wear a jersey every game and sell them for $3,000. You might as well buy an authentic jersey from the team store. I don't know if I follow. Do you follow that comment? I'm not really understanding.
No, I think he's saying that it's like barely used, but it's like, if that logic, yeah. But then why do we covet Ricky Patch autos where the player wore a jersey for 13 seconds? See, that's the part that
we don't. We don't.
No, I know. But that happens, right? They put on 1 million jerseys for 2 seconds, and then those become $200,000 McDavid Ricky Patch autos.
Yeah, and that's where some collectors really want meaning in their mem, and some don't, or some attribute meaning even if they wore the photo shoots a once in a lifetime thing, like the rookie photo shoots a once in a lifetime thing. Mm-hmm. If they're getting to wear them outside of that, yeah, to me it's just, it may as well be off the rack, like Chronicles says here. He goes on to say they would have very little wear, and the wear is what game worn jersey collectors like. That's true. Game worn jersey collectors, they want wear on those jerseys. So you have a gamer that looks like it wasn't even worn, like, mm-hmm. It's still game worn, which would, to me, is good enough in a card, but as a game worn, if I was a game worn jersey collector, that wouldn't be enough for me, I don't think. Laura says, if a player wears a size small versus a large, does that make his patch card more valuable? No, I think the patches don't change size, but the mesh, the napkin, less napkin jersey swatches, but the patches won't change size. Mm-hmm. Think about this though, Laura, the way you're thinking there. Think about a player that has like 11 letters in his name versus a player that has like 3 letters in his name. That's where you have scarcity in patches, right? Anders Lee, to use my last name, on the Islanders, very few patch cards compared to a player that like Ghost Behair or someone like that has a ton of letters on his name. Professor,
can I throw one more? Yeah, sorry, Jeremy. Can I throw one more thought into this? So I get what you're saying. I appreciate, wanting to limit the amount of game worn jerseys, but let's say that we did increase, let's say we got 30 a year or whatever, right? Somewhere around there. And Upper Deck was able to make cards with maybe bigger patches and swatches. And because of the quantity and good record keeping and system of organization, was able to produce more game worn cards, but that had exact provenance to the patch, right? Where here's a Connor McDavid game worn patch that was worn on January 14th against the Calgary Flames, and where McDavid had 2 goals and an assist. Yeah. Now, does that, because when you're talking about like diluting the overall pool of game used memorabilia, we're talking about it from that very homogenized perspective, right? Where it's like all game worn is game worn.
I have a couple thoughts. first of all, if they're going to get a jersey a year and they're not going to use a whole jersey in 1 year, which they might not, I don't know. Now you're going to only because I've been in Upper Deck's memorabilia room and I've seen how they store these little swatches. They're just all the jersey. Now this could have changed because I was in there in 2009, so 15 years ago. I'm sure it's changed by then, but back then it was just all in a bin, and you could see that it wasn't totally organized. There could have been some from one jersey in there and some from another jersey in there.
Yeah, you'd have to archive it a lot better.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, so I'm sure they're better at it now. But my point would have been that, you might not know exactly what game it comes from, and I don't even need to know what game it comes from. I just want to know that it was used in an official NHL game. That's what's important to me as a collector. Now, the way that they've been putting cards into packs lately, patch cards into packs, outside of the rookie year, it's for the most part game used anymore, and it's going to start to water it down to the point where it's just not as exciting or valuable. It's going to drive the cost down as well. So who's going to be the winner? Upper Deck. That's the only winner in all that.
Yeah.
As far as existing holders of cards go, we're all losers if we've been buying cards of his since he had game use pieces. If they go in that direction, so I don't want to see it happen. If they could find a way to use game use cards in the rookie year as well, which is more of a timing and logistical issue than availability issue, I'd be all for it if they had to get an extra jersey.
Yeah,
that way.
and I just want to kind of give a hypothetical on that. So let's say, and all this is presuming Upper Deck had the capabilities and to do this accurately and effectively. But if there's a card that exists with a game use patch of Connor McDavid from January 14th, 2025, and 15 years from now, you're a guy, and that was the first game your dad took you to, and you've got a little bit of money, you're doing everything to go get that card.
Yeah, that's a really cool scenario, actually. I really like that application of it. And hey, listen, trust me, if Upper Deck could do that. Now, the other, I don't know that they could do it on the card, because in having talks with Carvin over the years and Billy over the years, I believe there's a now they've done it before, but it's very, very challenging now for them to put the date of the game on the card. It's been done, but I just say it's very challenging when they've done that. That's what I've learned from the guys on the inside. So,
but isn't Fanatics doing that a lot right now in basketball and in baseball?
Well, I think they're put it on the website even. Even if you have a resource that you could go to see, that would be good enough, right, John? I love your idea. I don't care if it says it on the card or if there's at least a resource to go find it. I'd be okay with that too. Is that kind of where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer the card, but I would take a website as long as Upper Deck didn't lose. You've got the whole early 90s UDA stuff that is now kind of lost in the ethos and put a lot of those cards in limbo. So I think the card would be better, but to the point where it's harder than what they're doing today, but this is stuff that Fanatics is pushing the envelope on. They are doing this right now with cards.
Well, I can't speak to that, so I don't want to,
I think in the Mercury set, it happened for Wembanyama, and then we know what the MLB debut patches.
Yeah, that's going to be a much easier thing to do when it's a one-player product, right?
Sure.
If we were to get Carvin on here or Billy, I don't know if Billy's the guy because he doesn't construct the cards. He builds the sets, so he might not be the right guy, although he'll have some insight. But I just know from discussions, that's all I can really say. I'll just repeat it one more time, is that it's really difficult for them from a set creation, like the manufacturing perspective, the logistics of what has to be done in what order. I think I heard someone recently say something like, and it might have been on the Gong Show, I'm not sure, why can't they just put the date on the card or something like that, or tell you what game it comes from? They've done it before, and there's an answer to that question, and obviously it's because the greater we just don't know what goes into making a card. We really don't. We make a lot of assumptions. We think it's easier than it is probably, and in any event, I've just been told it's a lot more difficult, and the explanation was given to me. Why? Can I repeat it now? No, I don't remember. It's been years since I had these. Well, it's been a while since I had these discussions. The first time anyway. So Okay, but let's run through some more comments here. But I do love. I mean, I'd love it to go that way. I don't want to. I don't want to see more and more game used jerseys get into Upper Deck hands as much as they'd like it. As much as they'd like it, it'd be great for them, but I don't think it would bode well for the long term. Just look at the way the jersey card has gone. Professor says, picked up the 09 Jambalaya Mark Messier. Well, you know, you've been listening, Professor. You know we love that card. Congratulations on that. That's this one right here. Linda says, 0405 Ultimate had Gretzky Oiler patches and swatches. Correct. I'm not doubting you, but I believe that to be so as well. Professor says the Jambalaya Mark Messier will look good to the Marvel Spider-Man Gwen Jambalaya. Very nice. Always nice to pair cards together. Thorsten says, way less drama and controversy with numbered young guns. That's why it's the way to go. For some people, for sure it is the way to go. Not for me, but for many people, no doubt. Penguin Chronicle says, my grade documents and shares that info. The Penguins have agreements with Upper Deck as well, but the Penguins haven't published when those jerseys were worn, but they're usually one per period. Thank you for the insight. LGC wants to, did Upper Deck have a game-used jersey limbo bin? That's a play off of my last night's episode of Sports Cards Live, where I shared my limbo box of cards that are in between personal collection and making it into my card show showcases. Laura says true. So it would take longer to get rid of my jersey card than the Jay Lee jersey card. Yes, Gawodzinski. I don't know how you say your last name, Laura, but I'm going to say Gawodzinski. I don't know how you say the A. Gawad or Gawad, or is it just Gadzinski? Maybe Gadzinski. Is that how, Laura? Am I getting it right? Gadzinski? Yes. You would supply way more cards than I would. That's for sure. Penguin Chronicle says typically 6 to 8 jerseys from each Winter Classic and Stadium Series go to Upper Deck. Also says, I just bought a 2017 SP Game Used Stadium Series Crosby patch out of 35 because it was worn in the first period. He scored, and my wife and I were at the game rather than the whole jersey. But I'd rather the whole jersey, but it's in pieces. So there you go, Josh. Exactly what you're talking about. He bought it. He would have rather bought the whole jersey, but he's happy to have a piece of it. Yeah. Right on. And Jandiz says, how did that Z Gold sell for $225 less than what it sold for on another platform and the PSA 6? Okay, well, everything is now sold here, guys. And, I'll just say one thing to that comment, Janjiz, is that comps are not the gospel. That's how it happens. If comps were all that mattered, nothing would ever change. There's so many other factors at play.
I have an explanation for this one too. The one that sold on the other platform.
On the platform at the time and all those things. But let's hear yours, Josh.
Yeah, so sorry. The one that sold on the other platform was Raw, and I think this is a PSA 6. And people look at Raw cards as, ooh, could it be a 10? And so probably the difference here was that maybe the grade hurt the value in some point.
Well, yeah, for sure it did. It's the 6. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the other one was Raw.
Well, yeah, Raws typically sell for what an 8 sells for, Janjiz. And so very good explanation. That said, and I'm glad Josh had that at his fingertips because it's exactly right. But we also have to understand that, cards do sell at different for different prices, different times. He's saying 41 of 100, same card, but was it graded at the time? No, this is a fresh. It doesn't matter. So Janjiz, you may not know what this holder is PSA. They're a third-party grading company. So the card may have sold 41 of 100 when it was raw, and then somebody sent it to PSA, Professional Sports Authenticators. They're in California. They're all over the place now, and then they graded a 6 ex mint. So a 6 is generally going to sell for less than a raw because people trust the grading company. They are, maybe they couldn't see what might be wrong with it. Exactly. Grading. Yeah. Janjiz, exactly. Grading hurt the value 100%. Typically speaking, I believe, Josh, you may know better than me, but my understanding again, generally speaking, is that a raw card will sell for about what a PSA 8 would sell for. If that's the case, the 6 sells for less than the 8.
I would agree with that. And again, there's a million reasons or possibilities we could come up with. Another thing I'd point out, and no disrespect to Fanatics Collect, but this is actually a very gold, shiny card. And when you look at the image here, the beauty of this card is not reflected at all. Like if you, it is a very, very bright gold, shiny, especially on the right side of it. And when you look at other sales on other platforms that were not taken probably with the type of like professional scanner or photo setup that Fanatics uses, is that reflective gold shines out, and that makes a big difference in, and that's probably something that was lost in this photo.
Yeah, so I have the Gretzky in my collection. I just went to my picture on my phone, which I've scanned, and I did it against a black background like Fanatics does here. And I'll show you. I'm gonna take. So guys, burn that image of the Yzerman into your brain there for a second. I'm gonna take that off the screen now and show you what my image looks like, and it's basically the exact same. These do not scan well, like Josh said. That's my Gretzky copy from the set. It happens to be graded an 8 for what that's worth, but it doesn't scan well. The lighting just doesn't pick up the light in the scanner, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it, guys. We've exhausted all the cards. Have sold. The Vachon did 348. The Yzerman 516. The Hasek 168. Congrats to all of you new owners of One Cards tonight. The Messier 252. Congrats, Professor. Really like your pickups tonight, Professor. Really, this one on the Kachuk, I really like those pickups for you. Vasilevsky 444 on the Exquisite RPA. 396 on the Lundqvist low numbered essential credentials. The Kachuk, also going to the Professor, does 360, and the Red Outburst checklist with Bedard and Carlson does $1,440 tonight on the hockey auction on Fanatics Collect, guys. Josh, we got to be back here next Sunday because that auction is absolutely crazy.
It's a banger. Yep,
it's a banger of an auction, guys. We have a Crosby PMG green. We saw the Kane sell today for like $1,250. Let's see what the Crosby does. I'm curious. I own a Crosby PMG green myself, so I'm going to be very curious to see what that one sells for. Laura, phonetically, Gavidzinski, or English, Gawadzinski. I'm not going to remember that, Laura. I'm going to stick with Laura, but thank you. Thank you. Michael, another great night. Thanks, Jeremy and Josh. Also, the way you involve the chat is awesome, Jeremy, and it's why you're the best. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, Josh, chat. Thank you guys in the chat. Fun show, fun auction. Josh, thank you as always for spending your time here on Sunday night with me. I this is episode 75, guys. This is episode 75 of the Fanatics Collect Weekly Hockey Auction Watch Party with Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gong Show. Janges, thank you very much. Glad to have the Z Gold. Hey, there you go. There you go. Well done. Okay. We'll see you back here next Sunday for another episode. The Gong Show drops in a few hours here tonight. It's already in the can, as Josh would say. That's great. I'll be back next Saturday on Sports Cards Live. Check out last night's episode on the channel, guys. It was a fun episode. Really fun. Feel free to check that out. With that, Josh, you want to say goodbye?
Bye, guys. Have a great week.
This episode of the Fanatics Collect Weekly Hockey Auction and Watch Party for January the 26th, 2025 is now over. I don't know why I did that, but I did that. Okay, bye.
Bye.